Hey, what's up, guys? So I am currently in the home stretch of finishing episode 24. Of course, when you guys see this, it'll already be out. But home stretch basically means all the animation is done. This is all the animation except this. This is just a reference frame because I haven't finished tinting yet. But that's all the animation. All the animation and effects are done. Effects as in like actual like flashy effects like the lightning or the emeralds, that kind of stuff. All that is done. But that does not mean I'm done with editing the episode. There are still a few things to do. And yeah, so I'm going to kind of walk through one of those things and then another one in another video that I'm going to do. But some of the things that are left over to do are, making the blink animations, actually putting the blink animations in, animating the mouths, and tinting. Tinting is a big one, and that's the one I'm going to be showing. Well, actually, no, I'm going to be showing the blinking right here, how I do the blinks, but I'll show tinting in the next video. I'll put up all these behind the scenes at the same time, so go watch the tinting one if you want to know what that is. That's basically just color correction, but that's what I call it when I work on it. So, okay, so how do I determine where I'm going to put the blinks? Basically, I will scan through the animation and like watching it, and then I'll kind of be like, oh, they should have a blink animation right here, and then one right there, and etc., etc. So then I just right-click Properties, and then get the frame name, or number rather, write it down, specify character if I have to, like if there's 3 characters on screen, then I'll specify like Sonic blinks here or Knuckles blinks here. Obviously Tails is the only one that will be blinking because Dash does not blink. So, and then I go into Photoshop, and then I usually will create 3 frames of blinks. And this is what they look like right here. Let me solo. So it's, well, first, there's the, no animation of blinking. But the first frame is usually like that. Second frame is like that. And then the next frame is completely closed. And what that looks like, of course, it's off-center right here, but I'm about to get to that in a second. So it kind of like, sort of closes halfway to maybe a little more, a little less closes, and then completely closes. And usually it's just 3 frames. Sometimes I'll have 4 if it needs to be a longer one, like the eye-opening animation for the Super Sonic and Super Shadow. Those were 4 frames, I believe. And then, I'll kind of play around with frames. I don't think I really ever go too much higher than 4, maybe 5, but I don't think I've ever done like 6 or anything crazy. Okay, so basically, I've already tinted this right here, and what that means is I've basically color corrected it. Watch the other video tutorial on me doing that, not for this section, but anyway, so because of that, not only are the frames off-center because this is not maintain aspect ratio. If it was, then the frames would be centered. But since I have it just a little bit stretched, the frames don't completely cover it. And that's really simple of a fix. Same with the tinting. So, if this'll... It's a little slow because I'm capturing the entire monitor for this. If I got rid of all these effects, that's the original frame and that's the tinted version. I usually make frames darker, but I actually made this one lighter in this case. When I made these Photoshop frames of blink animation, I made them to the original frame. I didn't make them to the tinted version, So right here, they're still off-center, but if this was like that, it looks normal. And sometimes it won't really change, but when you tint, you're changing the colors, so you want to change the colors on the blink animation as well. And to do that, as well as copy any original attributes from the tinted version, all you do is... Let me actually cap this off really quick. Sorry, I feel like I'm so all over the place when I kind of walk through how I do stuff, but when laying the animation down of the blinks, you would maybe think that it would just be like, like 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, done. It's actually more like the first 2 frames are 1 frame each, and then the closed one I actually hold for 2 frames. So, just like 1 frame, 2 frames, 1 frame, 1 frame, And then you don't even have to make new eyelids for the opening. All you do is repeat this in reverse, so it looks like it's opening. It's really simple. I always have it hold the closed for 2 frames just because it looks a little more natural, I think. I don't know, you can be the judge of that. But now let's take the effects from the actual frame we're putting the blinks on and apply them. Paste event attributes, and now you can see this looks a little strange right here. It's because on most frames for the animation, I put a sharpen effect, which makes it look a little more clear and crisp, and it's nice. But if you do that for a PNG, it's going to look really bad because it's going to sharpen the outlines, and you don't want it to do that. So all you got to do is just come in here and get rid of sharpen, and it's really simple. And then we take those attributes from the fixed frame and apply them to the other ones on the outside. So now the frame is like that, or the animation is like that. You know, blinking is really simple. It's just time consuming. And it's not even that time consuming. I mean, when I made all the blink frames from scene 2 all the way to scene 6. Yeah, because I haven't done 7 yet. I haven't made the actual frames for scene 7. But I made all those, and I watched like a couple movies worth of time, because I have 2 monitors, so it's really great when you're doing Photoshop where you can just watch stuff. It's pretty time consuming. I'm used to it. It's actually kind of relaxing to me in a way, because after all of this and, you know, like audio laying and sound effects and putting this here and tinting, well, tinting is actually kind of relaxing too, but like, you know, putting Chaos Emerald effects and lightning to make blinks is actually just very calming and simple, and it's nice. I like it. And I don't remember why I even chose to start doing blinking. I started it in episode 16, which was the Chaotix one. I just kind of like, I was editing and then I was just like, what if I just made them blink? And then that was pretty much it. And the rest is history, and I've been doing it ever since. So, I don't know. I think it adds kind of a sense of depth to it. I'm not going to have them blink at the rate of a normal human, because then they would blink all the fucking time. And you don't want it to be distracting. You just want it to add like a little bit of depth to it. So, as it auto-saves, thank you, Vegas. Vegas likes to do that. It's good though, because then if it crashes, it has my project. So that's pretty much, that's it. That's how I do blinking. I always do it, you know, 1, 1, 2 frames, 1, 1, and then it's done. Usually 3 frames of animation itself, unless it calls for like a more slow blink, maybe 4 or 5 frames. Like the super animation, or the super blinks, those were 4 frames each. And sometimes it'll actually be, I didn't even comment on how I'm putting the blinks on another track. When I make these in Photoshop, I save them as PNGs with this not underneath it. So I only save it as the blinks themselves. But I don't center them or anything, because it's already positioned where I want it to be. I just need to stretch it a little bit. It's really simple. And I only stretch it because my camera is like barely fills the aspect ratio. I don't know why. But that's just on my end. It's probably not for you. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, there are some instances where I actually save a blink animation. Like if I just drew this in Photoshop, I would save all of this as a JPEG. I said that weird. JPEG, because for instance, I did that with, you can't really see it now because I saved this sequence as its own, like its own clip, so it's all together now. But this right here, oh, I actually, well, I saved, because the background wasn't here because Supersonic was its own layer. But I saved Supersonic with eyes opening and closing all together. I didn't save the blink separately because that would have just made another layer and made it all difficult and complicated when it doesn't need to be. So that's a very long tutorial on how I do blinks, or maybe just behind the scenes. I don't know if you want to call this a tutorial, because I don't know if I'm the best teacher, because I'm like, oh, and then you do this, and then, oh, the properties, and then blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you maybe learned something, and I hope you enjoyed the episode as well. So, thanks for watching.